Calcium supplementation used to be taken as gospel. Recently, the medical profession and myself as a physician and my patients have been troubled by the lack of compelling evidence that calcium supplementation does in fact improve bone mineral density. In my search for the best for my patients and the best in products to formulate, I found that one product, an algae-derived calcium, has actually done studies that have demonstrated modest but definitely positive improvement.
You got to start off saying, well, what's going to happen is you're going to lose 1% a year anyway. So we need to use that as a standard. Okay? Well, in the first two studies we looked at, we were talking about gaining 4% benefit over taking a limestone source of calcium. That is tremendous. We're talking about 4% a year. We can follow these subjects up again, but even if nothing happened from there forward and they just maintained that, that is a dramatic increase. That's going to make a big difference in their lives. So in the first studies when we found, and the second study when we went out and we did the 1 year study over there with just calcium alone, we're talking 2 or 3% increases in bone. And remember, folks, those are the kinds of people who are having a 1% decrease. So you have to realize those are tremendous. Now you can say, well, gee, there's only a few percentage differences. Oh, yeah. But you project that over a lifetime and you look at that, boy, can be a big difference in people's lives and the reduction of the potential for risk. The plant cal that we studied over time, I would recommend that to everyone as a lifetime endeavor. I don't see any potential for adverse effects.
After 2 years, which was December of last year, 11 months ago, I went back and had a full DEXA scan, and they were amazed. The technicians were amazed, the HMO was amazed, everybody was amazed. They told me I had good, healthy, new bone growth. I have a good life, and bone density, loss of bone is not something that fits into my lifestyle, and I'm very, very, very thankful for the plant-based calcium product.
I started taking it and I convinced my doctor that I was going to do an experiment on myself, and that in a year's time, if I lost more bone, then I would take whatever she wanted, but give me this year to experiment, and I was going to be religious on it, and I was just going to do it, and we're going to see, and she agreed. So I did, and I went back in a year, and I stabilized on one part of my body, and I grew bone, or I don't know if that's the word, but my levels rose on the other part of my body, which was great. So she was very happy, I was very happy, and I have been on a plant-based calcium ever since.
I would always recommend plant source calcium. It's just so much better because the body is also getting trace minerals with that calcium, and it's going to be much more efficient in building healthy bone. And there's actually some in vitro studies that have been published that have shown that the plant source calcium is infinitely better than the rock forms of calcium, or at least 70 minerals that exist in plant source calcium. Of course, we also know that the hydroxyapatite crystals that make up our bone matrix are comprised of at least 13 of those 70 minerals. My contention is, of course, they're all in there, just like they're distributed throughout the rest of our body ubiquitously. But the bottom line is, they're all important. So if you're taking a supplement that contains trace minerals in addition to calcium, you're going to be way better off. The plant-based calcium contains about 750 milligrams of calcium, which is the current new recommendation of the National Institute of Health, after now 6 studies have come out and shown that excess calcium supplementation can actually lead to increased plaque in the arteries and atherosclerosis. And as I point out in my book, that if calcium is what's used to harden concrete, calcium chloride. So by just taking rock forms of calcium, we potentially contribute to stones and plaque in our bodies, as opposed to plant source calcium, which contains over 2-to-1 concentration of trace minerals in addition to calcium. So we're looking at about 1,600 milligrams of trace minerals with each calcium tablet from plant source calcium, which is clearly hugely much better than any other source of calcium that exists out there today. If I was going to recommend a source of calcium, I would absolutely consider plant calcium as the best source that exists.
Probably close to 75% to 85% of everything we study not only doesn't meet the grantor's standards or expectations, but they also turn out worse. I'm not being paid anything to sit here and talk about this particular thing, but I'll tell you, the plant's source form of calcium, the plant cal was really one of, I think, the most satisfying and rewarding experiences that we've had in the research business.